The monkey's ending is one of the most disturbing and complex conclusions to a horror film in recent memory. Written and directed by Osgood Perkins, it's a supernatural thriller that mixes elements of family trauma, guilt, and revenge with an eerie cursed object at its center, the toy monkey. A lot happens in the final moments, and it's crucial to understand both the literal events and their emotional weight to fully grasp the film's impact. Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. If you haven't watched the movie yet, then be careful, because there will be spoilers. So let's dive in and break down everything you need to know about the ending of The Monkey. A toy that brings death. At the core of this twisted story is a seemingly innocuous toy monkey. It's a mechanical drummer that, when its key is wound, plays a rhythm. However, this toy doesn't just play music. It has the terrifying ability to kill anyone who gets too close once it starts drumming. The twist is that the person who winds the monkey's key is immune to its power, but they can't control who it kills. That sets up a devastating cycle of unintended deaths throughout the film, all stemming from this toy's cursed nature. The film opens with Petey Shelburne, the father of the twin brothers, trying to destroy the monkey. He knows it's dangerous. The movie later hints that Petey's disappearance might be linked to his attempt to rid the family of the cursed toy. In the opening scene, Petey uses a blowtorch to melt the face of the monkey, but it mysteriously survives. His actions foreshadow the fate of those who try to destroy it. They can't. The brothers, Hal and Bill's relationship. The relationship between the two brothers, Hal and Bill, is central to the story. Hal, played by Theo James as an adult, is meek and cautious, while Bill, portrayed by Christian Convery as the younger version, is cruel and manipulative. They both become fascinated with the monkey after discovering it hidden away in their father's belongings. Bill is the one who initially turns the key on the monkey, setting off a tragic chain of events that only escalates throughout the film. Bill's bullying and malicious behavior toward Hal intensifies, which pushes Hal to use the monkey in a desperate attempt to stop Bill's cruelty. But Hal doesn't realize that the monkey doesn't operate on his terms. Instead of killing Bill, the monkey kills their mother Lois, leading to her sudden death from an aneurysm. This event marks the beginning of a series of tragic accidents tied to the monkey. Hal, overcome with guilt, attempts to destroy the toy but is unsuccessful, setting the stage for more mayhem.
Whoever controls it controls life and death.
The monkeys return. Even after Hal and Bill leave their home to live with their Aunt Ida and Uncle Chip, the monkey's curse continues. The brothers try to hide it by throwing it down a well, hoping that its power will be contained. But the toy always returns. The message here is clear. You cannot escape your fate or the consequences of your actions, no matter how hard you try. This is where the film begins to take a more tragic turn. Hal, now older and estranged from Bill, is living in fear of the monkey's return. He has distanced himself from his son Petey out of a belief that his own misfortune will somehow affect him. This kind of trauma echoes throughout the film, highlighting how people can be haunted by past mistakes and guilt, even when they think they've moved on. The monkey shows up again in the town of Maine, where Hal and Bill's paths cross once more. Bill, having lived for years consumed by revenge, has been waiting for the return of the toy. He suspects Hal was responsible for their mother's death and now wants revenge. Bill's obsession with using the monkey to kill Hal is a driving force in the final act, but his plan is doomed from the start.
Chosen to witness its power.
The return of Bill and the monkey's power bills return to town, and his possession of the monkey sets off a final series of events. He hires Ricky, a local man, to retrieve the monkey, hoping to use it to finally exact his revenge. Ricky becomes entangled in the curse, believing that the monkey somehow brings him closer to his absent father. But like everyone before him, Ricky quickly learns that the monkey is not something that can be controlled. When Ricky attempts to retrieve the monkey from Bill, things spiral out of control. Ricky's fate is sealed when he's killed by a swarm of wasps that emerge after Petey turns the key in the monkey. This is another example of the monkey's unpredictable and deadly power. It kills those who try to use it for their own gain, without any regard for the intent behind the actions. The film's final sequence is chaotic, with death and destruction ripping through the town as the monkey's drumming triggers a violent series of events. Houses explode, people are killed in freak accidents, and it seems like nothing and no one can escape the death grip of this cursed toy. But despite the carnage, Hal is spared. This is where the monkey's rules become clearer. It will not harm the person who winds the key, but it cannot be controlled. The deaths are random, inevitable, and horrifying, driven by the unstoppable force of the monkey's drumming.
Oh, not a cherished childhood memory now, was it?
The final confrontation, Hal and Bill's redemption. In the midst of all this destruction, Hal and Bill find themselves in a final confrontation. Bill, enraged by the deaths and consumed by his hatred for Hal, attempts to force the monkey to drum without turning the key, hoping to trigger its death-dealing power. But in a cruel twist of fate, the monkey begins drumming uncontrollably, leading to Bill's ironic and grisly death. It's almost poetic that Bill, who has spent so much of his life consumed by the need for revenge, is killed in such a random and senseless manner. A bowling ball, once owned by their mother, falls from a shelf and smashes Bill's head clean off. It's a fitting end for Bill, who spent so much time trying to control death, only to be undone by the very randomness of the force he sought to control. His obsession with revenge blinded him to the fragility of life, and in the end, it is that same obsession that leads to his demise.
I did everything I could to make it go the fuck away.
Hal's decision, keeping the monkey. After Bill's death, Hal is left to confront the consequences of everything that's happened. Instead of destroying the monkey once again, Hal decides to keep it. Why? Because he knows that if the monkey were ever to fall into the wrong hands again, the cycle of death and destruction would begin anew. Hal's decision to keep the monkey with him is not just about protecting others, it's about taking responsibility for the cursed object and preventing it from wreaking further havoc. Hal, now fully aware of the monkey's power, understands that the only way to stop the killings is to ensure that no one else ever winds the key again. With Petey by his side, Hal prepares to keep the monkey locked away from the rest of the world. It's a bleak but ultimately self-aware conclusion. Hal has accepted the burden of the monkey's curse and the consequences of his own actions. He knows that by keeping it, he is making a promise to never again let it bring death to anyone else.
It's a toy monkey?
It's evil. It's basically
The Pale Horseman, a haunting final image. As Hal and Petey drive through the devastated town, they encounter a mysterious figure riding a pale horse, a potential reference to the Pale Horseman, symbolizing death. This figure acknowledges them but doesn't stop or intervene. The implication here is chilling. The death and destruction caused by the monkey are part of a larger, unavoidable fate, and there's no escaping the consequences of the past. In their final moments, Hal suggests to Petey that they go dancing, something their mother had loved. This simple act symbolizes a potential for healing and reconnection. Hal is no longer completely consumed by the past. He's finally ready to live, even though the dark shadow of the monkey still looms over them.
Everybody dies.
The endings and future possibilities. While the monkey doesn't have a post-credits scene, its ending sets the stage for future stories. By keeping the monkey, Hal effectively guarantees that the curse will never end. The next chapter could easily explore how the monkey might fall into someone else's hands, leading to more chaos and death. There's also the possibility of a prequel exploring the backstory of Hal and Bill's father, Petey Shelburne, and how he first came into contact with the monkey. In either case, the monkey leaves its audience with a sense of unresolved tension. The toy may be locked away, but its curse is never truly gone. It's just waiting for the right person, or the wrong person, to wind the key again.
No!
Our nerdy thoughts. The monkey's ending is a dark reflection on fate, guilt, and the inability to escape the consequences of our actions. By choosing to keep the monkey, Hal acknowledges the weight of his choices and takes responsibility for the chaos it caused, while also ensuring that it won't cause further harm. Whether or not this marks the end of the story, we're left with the understanding that some things are better left undisturbed, especially when they come with the kind of deadly power that a toy monkey possesses. What do you think will happen next?
Now what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.